David Johnston.
Speaker, the cost of living is the number one issue that comes up on the doors, and that's why it's so important the government is working on its plan to reduce inflation by at least half. It looks like it's going to come down a lot more than that. And today's a good day to have this debate because it's the day that nearly 8 million people, actually over 8 million people, are going to get £900 cost of living payments, the first instalment of that today. Nearly 9,000 people in my constituency. Now, there's a lot in this motion, from economic growth to wages to taxes to energy, and I'm going to try and skip through as many of those as I can, beginning with economic growth, because in every year since 2010, until we hit the pandemic, the economy grew by 19.2% during that period, the third highest growth in the G7. And we saw during that period, until that pandemic, fantastic employment figures with that as well, because when Labour left office in 2010, unemployment was 8%. It's now less than 4%. We saw the equivalent of 1,000 people every single day being added to the work rolls in that period up to 2019. On youth unemployment, which is particularly of interest to me, Labour left office with youth unemployment over 20%, and it's now also at a historic low. On wages, the national living wage since 2016 has seen an average £5,000 into people's annual wages. On taxes, because the Labour Party they don't want to talk about pensions in this motion, that's okay, though I will just note that that this policy of triple lock that this government has added £2,300 to the value of the state pension, and we mustn't forget the important role that's played for pensioners with the cost of living. But on taxes, look, I welcome Labour to the calls of being concerned about taxes being too high. It's not their record in government, but, better late than never. We have doubled the personal allowance to more than £12,500 with people paying no tax whatsoever. This motion says they want to freeze council tax. I doubt their local authorities would be supportive of that. However, leaving that to one side, there's just this awkward fact that in the 13 years of this government so far, council tax has gone up by 36%. In the 13 years of the Labour government, it went up by 110%. Yeah. So it's easy to be in favour of council tax and everything else being lower when you're not in power, slightly harder when you've got to make those decisions. And on energy, turning to energy prices, through the combination of the rebate and the energy price guarantee, families have been saved £1,500 on their energy bills since October. This is a huge investment by government to help keep the cost of living down, paid for by a windfall tax that the Labour Party says it wants to extend. Well, it's already going until 2028. So we have taken the action that they are just talking about all the time, pretending that we haven't done so already. Now, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Prime Minister wants the country to take maths more seriously, and I think he's right. It's very important for people in the labour market, and I've never asked him this, but I just have this feeling that it's always in his mind, because when he sits on that front bench, he looks across at a sea of Labour MPs who don't take maths seriously at all. Every week, we're told that if you end non-dom status and you put VAT on private school fees and you use the windfall tax, you can pay for whatever your heart desires. Childcare, council tax, freezing your energy bills, free breakfast clubs, whatever it is you like. This is totally unserious. There is no greater example of the anti-maths mindset than the Labour Party. As usual, their sums don't add up. Yeah.